Hi, my name is Lisa, and I work for the Watauga County Public Library, which is part of the Appalachian Regional Library System. For 3 years, I was the project manager of the Alphabet Ready grant, and this presentation will give an overview of what was accomplished in those 3 years. Many thanks to the IMLS, LSTA, and the State Library of North Carolina for making this project possible, as well as thanks to the Watauga Library Endowment, which provided matching funds for much of this project as well. The idea for this grant came into existence through several different circumstances that created the perfect storm, if you will, that culminated in the Alphabet Ready grant. The first seed for what would form the basis of this grant began when I was at a conference and heard the quote that governors of some states use third-grade reading scores to predict the number of prison beds they'll need in the future. While some have said that this quote is an urban myth that should be true, there has certainly been much documentation regarding the troubling statistics related to low literacy. This information especially resonated with me since I was also enrolled in the IMLS project Supercharged Storytimes and was learning through that program about the importance of supporting reading skills by including phonemic awareness and alphabet recognition activities into Storytimes. Additionally, I was working on obtaining my MLS degree at UNCG, which was made possible for me through a tuition assistance program through the Friends of the Watauga County Public Library. One of the classes that I took was called Reading, Literacy, and the Library, and it was through that course that I encountered much research that continued to support the idea of how important it was to provide children with opportunities to interact with alphabet recognition and phonemic awareness as part of the process of learning to read. While this might not seem related, I was also on a committee for a regional 5-year planning grant. Dr. Bergen was our consultant, and he mentioned in one of our committee meetings that he had been reading Essentialism. It was from the information that he shared that it began to make sense to me to make alphabet recognition and phonemic awareness a focal point of the work that I would do at the library whenever possible. I also had the opportunity to attend a training workshop done by Abby Mosier, the director of the Preschool Outreach Program in Buncombe County. That workshop and Abby's feedback were invaluable in how I designed many aspects of our future outreach initiatives. So you can see all these things were swirling in my mind, and I was wondering how a youth services librarian could use all that information to good effect. So I thought about the third-grade marker that kept being referenced in the research I was reading. But it seemed to me that it would be better to reach children long before they were struggling in 3rd grade. So I started working backward and finally settled on trying to serve the pre-K and kindergarten demographic. And I began structuring my library story times with an alphabet and phonemic focus. However, I really felt like I was preaching to the choir when I presented these story times at the library, since many of the families who take the time to bring their children to the library are already interested in promoting early literacy. So we started thinking about various ways we could reach beyond the library with our alphabet-focused story times. First, we created an outreach program by training volunteers to provide library story times in the 4-year-old classrooms at area daycare centers using these specially designed storytelling kits. Once we received the Alphabet Ready grant, the supervision of this program fell under the grant since the goals were identical. It was as we continued to think of ways that we could extend our outreach that the Alphabet Ready grant was born. We desired to move beyond daycare centers and into pre-K and kindergarten classrooms in public schools, and that's exactly what this grant has enabled us to do. In the first year of the grant, I began offering Alphabet Ready story times in several kindergarten and pre-K classrooms. Additionally, that year, we created storytelling kits to facilitate those story times. We also created Alphabet Ready backpacks so that patrons could check out a curated set of materials that would cover multiple learning modalities. And this was our creative way to store those materials. The grant also enabled us to purchase support material for families to check out. So we purchased early phonetic readers, books to support alphabet recognition, books to support phonemic awareness, as well as books with rhymes and songs, since that facilitates the ability to hear syllables and words, and seek and find or spot the difference books that support the skill of visual discrimination that is so important in deciphering the difference between a lowercase n, r, and h. We also hosted a once-a-month program that we called Awesome Alphabet Activities. This was a 4-hour drop-in program in which we set up the meeting room with multiple learning stations to support alphabet recognition and phonemic awareness. In year 2 of the grant, we were able to hire 3 part-time storytime providers, which enabled us to go into even more school classrooms. As far as support materials, we learned that there is not really any standard across the board that defines what constitutes an early reader. So while a book might be designated as having an A or 1 reading level, that can mean wildly different things depending on the publisher. Here, for instance, is a level 1 DK reader, but most of those words in this book could not be decoded by a kindergarten or first grade student. I mean, camouflage, really? So, in year 2, we purchased more of the early readers that could actually be decoded, and, at the request of the teachers, we tried to place an emphasis on nonfiction titles. We created a second set of backpacks for every letter of the alphabet, and again, at the request of the teachers we were serving, those backpacks had a STEM emphasis and contained lower-level readers of nonfiction titles. Additionally, when we learned that nearly half of the kindergarten children had never been to the public library, we began remedying that situation by bringing them to the library on field trips, where they had the opportunity to participate in alphabet recognition learning stations, tour the library, and learn to check out books with the self-checkout machine and also how to return those books. In year 3 of the grant, we were able to hire 1 more part-time story provider. This enabled us to present story times to every pre-K and kindergarten classroom in 2 of the 3 counties that make up our regional system. We continued to also bring kindergarten students to the library on field trips, and we continued offering the once-a-month Awesome Alphabet Activities drop-in program. And we promoted the materials that had been purchased or created in years 1 and 2. I was able to present a poster session at NCLA in October of 2019 about the Alphabet Ready program and had the chance to highlight the effectiveness of the reach of the program with the total number of teachers and children and parents attending programs in year 2 at over 18,000. However, in March of 2020, when the governor mandated shelter in place with the outbreak of the coronavirus, our project took a turn. I had already started a YouTube channel and had been creating training videos as part of the Arley preschool outreach program and also as documentation for the grant. However, at this point, we pivoted and began creating videos specifically geared for the children. We began creating online storytime videos for each letter of the alphabet and then decided to add a second set of videos that encourage phonemic awareness activities too. We posted these videos on our YouTube channel, but I would also send the YouTube links each week to the teachers who would then share those links with their families as part of the remote learning that they were now providing. Many other libraries began doing virtual programs as a result of the pandemic. However, they were reading books for which author and publisher permission had expiration dates. Since we did not want to have to take these videos down after author and publisher permissions ran out, we chose in our videos to provide storytime activities and then to link to read-alouds that contained our focus letter and had licensed publisher permission. At the request of a patron, we created playlists of those book titles. We also linked to titles on NC Kids Digital that had the focus letter in the title of the book, and created a video tutorial that we linked to assist our patrons with using that resource. Once we got started, it was hard to stop. We continued to add resources to the video description with links to crafts that highlighted the focus letter, experiments that were aligned with the focus letter, finger plays, informational videos, and songs, and then created a playlist of those resources as well. Here, you can see an example of our video description and the rich resources that we link to extend those learning opportunities. We also created outdoor passive programming that continued to support the goals of Alphabet Ready by creating an ABC scavenger hunt around the outside of the library, as well as a downtown ABC story walk that was displayed in the windows of downtown businesses. As far as statistics for Year 3 of the Alphabet Ready grant, before the coronavirus, we were able to present 609 Alphabet Ready story times with over 10,000 students and teachers in attendance. We offered 11 field trips to over 500 students and teachers, and Awesome Alphabet Activities was offered 8 times with over 200 attending, and the Arley Preschool Outreach with volunteers presented 108 story times with over 1,800 in attendance, for a total of over 12,000 attending these programs. Additionally, we tracked the YouTube views of our videos with over 4,600 views of the videos we created, and we tracked the Facebook reach of our passive programs with over 9,800 reached through our Facebook posts. Some of the obstacles we faced were obviously the pandemic. We were not able to finish our story times in the schools, and several kindergarten classes were not able to go on their scheduled field trip to the library. Another obstacle was the fact that in one county, the decision was made to make participation in the Alphabet Ready project mandatory. While it's hard to imagine the Alphabet Ready program not being a beneficial addition to any kindergarten or pre-K program, making it mandatory did create some issues for one of the 47 teachers we were serving. So if others were interested in taking on a project like this, I would recommend allowing teachers to decide if they would like to participate. The last challenge or obstacle is that depending on the curriculum being used, some teachers are finished introducing the alphabet by December. Our thought was that Alphabet Ready would be a perfect enhancement for remedial learners, while children who are on grade level would continue to benefit from the rich vocabulary of the books we were reading. But at least one teacher provided feedback that she would prefer that after December we include story times on diagraphs. So we did create a storytime kit for SH, CH, and TH. Moving forward, many teachers have indicated that they would like to continue to use the videos we created in the upcoming school year. Because of this interest, we believe we will not only continue to offer Alphabet Ready resources to the 2 counties that we have been serving, but we believe there is now the possibility of reaching out to the 3rd county in our system next year with the videos that we've created. I want to tell a quick story that may have an effect on another aspect of moving forward with Alphabet Ready. Early one morning before the library was opened, I was putting out traffic cones to provide bus parking for one of our kindergarten library field trips, and a lady who was walking her dog asked me what I was doing. After I explained a bit about our program, she told me that she was the faculty advisor for a club at Appalachian State University, and she wanted to talk to me further about the program and how we might create a partnership in which students at the university could be trained as volunteers in the Alphabet Ready program. The coronavirus may have put that partnership on hold for now, but I do look forward to the possibility in the future. We will continue to offer either Awesome Alphabet Activities or passive outdoor programs that support Alphabet Ready principles, and I'm looking forward to at least exploring the possibilities of perhaps one day monetizing our YouTube channel to benefit our Friends of the Library group. And someday, perhaps in the distant future, I would love to create a program that is a bit of a hybrid between 2 other programs I have seen. The first is a program at the San Francisco Public Library called the FOG or Free Orton Gillingham program, created by Laura Lay. In that program, training is provided for volunteer tutors who then offer free tutoring services at various library locations. The second program is one offered at Richland County Public Library in South Carolina, in which they offer some training for parents, tutors, and caregivers on reading strategies and interventions. That program was created by Emily Johansson and Laura Rogers. What I would like to create someday is a series of videos that highlight how parents can use library materials to support reading skills. I would like for this to actually be a methodical series that would walk parents and their children through the learning to read process. With this video format, parents could access this information at their convenience, and it would be a wonderful tool for libraries to share to support reading in their communities. Who knows, perhaps one day a resource like that might even have a positive effect on reducing the number of prison beds that governors have to plan for. Well, that wraps up this overview of the 3-year Alphabet Ready project. Guess there's nothing left to say except that's all, folks.